Hello everyone, welcome to science class. Today we're going to be talking about what we have been talking about forces and motion. So first things first, I want you to start off and I want you to share with a partner and talk about what you know about forces and motion and what we have talked about in the past when it comes to how forces impact motion of objects. So go ahead, think about it. Take a couple seconds to think about it and then share with a partner how. All right, awesome job. Now that you have taken time to talk to your partner, we are going to get started on an activity on surface tension. So I want you to think about, what do you know about surface tension? So I'm going to go ahead. You guys are going to get a cup. You guys are going to fill that cup with water, and then you will be given some paper clips. So what you are trying to do here is you are trying to take the paper clips and make it so that they are on the top level, floating on top of the water without sinking to the bottom of the cup. So I want you to go ahead, give it a couple tries. Let's see if anyone can get it to where the paper clip is on the top level of the water and balancing using the surface tension of the water. Awesome job. So moving on, once we've finished that activity and once we've given a couple tries at putting the paper clip on the water, I want you to think about different ways that surface tension is used. If you've ever been to a pond or a creek or a lake and you've seen those little bugs that are scurrying around, I want you to think of some other examples. What are some ways that you've seen surface tension, something staying on the top of the water? In some ways that surface tension, you maybe have interacted with surface tension in your life. Go ahead and take a moment and talk with your partner and give some ideas on surface tension, some examples that you've seen in your own life, and then share if you're able to get your paper clip to stay on. For our first activity, we're going to be looking at, I want you to keep in mind during this activity, what is the force and how is that force impacting the motion. So we're going to look at something here. You guys are all going to be given some ground pepper, some dish soap, and then water, and then a paper plate. So how we are going to start this activity is we are going to fill our paper plate with a thin layer of water. Just a little bit of water, enough for the whole bottom of the plate to be covered, but not enough to fill it all the way. Then we're going to take our ground pepper and we're going to sprinkle some of it on top of our water. Just enough where you're able to see it on the surface of the water. Spread out. Perfect. So here we're going to be doing it where we are putting our finger into the water. And then for our second try, we're going to be putting our finger into the water with dish soap. So I want you guys to go ahead, take a moment to stop and make a prediction on what do you think is going to happen whenever we place our finger into the water. What do you think is going to happen when we do it with just putting our finger in? And then do you think something different will happen? Do you think it will do the same thing whenever we put our finger with dish soap into the water? So I want you to go ahead and make a prediction. Tell us what you think is going to happen. Describe why you think it's going to happen. Why do you think what your prediction is will happen? Go ahead, take a moment, write it down on your paper, and go ahead and share it with your partner. Go ahead and pause this video while you do that, and then we will get started on the activity. Awesome. So we are going to start. I'm going to place my finger into the water, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, not much of a reaction there. So go ahead, look at your prediction. Was your prediction correct? Did you say that there wasn't going to be much of a reaction? Did you say there was going to be a lot of movement? We had just a little bit of movement just due to putting my finger in the water. Otherwise, we didn't see much change with the pepper or much change with the water. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of dish soap on my finger. And you do the same. And we're going to go ahead, and once you've got some dish soap on your finger, go ahead and place it in the water. Awesome. So, as you see, the ground pepper has moved to the outside. Once we used the dish soap, that was a completely different reaction than what we had before. So I want you thinking about forces and thinking about motion. We just saw a lot of motion, and a lot of motion change. The pepper started just sitting still and then quickly changed to moving outwards. So what was that force that caused this change in motion? I want you to look at your prediction, see if you were right about your prediction, and then I want you to think about this force and motion that we just saw. All right, now that we have talked about and we have looked at surface tension as a force and have seen how surface tension can cause motion, as an example for what we've been talking about in the past, I'm going to show you guys one more example of this, and an example that I find to be a little bit more fun than just using the pepper. So instead, this time we're going to use a little bit of milk, and you're going to do a similar thing. You're just going to cover a thin layer of the paper plate using the milk. So once we have our thin layer of milk, we are going to apply food coloring. So I'm going to use 1 drop of every color that I have. I have green. That one may have been blue. I'm going to add red, blue, green, and yellow, all to the center. All right, awesome. Now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and predict. You may have a little bit more background knowledge thinking to that last activity that we just did. We're going to go ahead and predict. We're going to use a Q-tip instead of our finger this time. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the Q-tip into the food coloring without anything on it and predict what is going to happen. This time we're using food coloring instead of pepper that's sitting on top. So your prediction may be different. The results may be different. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to cover one end with a little bit of dish soap like we did before, and I want you to go ahead and predict what do you think is going to happen here. Now this time that you have a little bit of background knowledge, I want you to think about not only predicting what will happen, but explaining why it will happen that way. Focus a little bit more on why this force is going to cause motion. So we'll go ahead and put it in without any of the dish soap. Awesome. So nothing has really changed other than having a colorful end of the Q-tip now. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to apply a little bit of dish soap to the end of the Q-tip. See if this causes any change in what we have set up here. Now that I've put a little bit of dish soap on the end of the Q-tip, I'm going to go ahead and put it into the center. There we are, kind of like fireworks. This one's my favorite because of the way that it spreads out and is super colorful. So now that we have seen this and now that we have focused on this, I want you to discuss with your partner in these activities, what have we seen? What was the motion? What caused the motion? Go ahead and look at your predictions, compare your predictions and your explanations of why you thought this way. And I want you to explain these activities and give some thought on what you saw. You guys did an awesome job today. Thank you for exploring this with me, and thank you for taking some time to look at the way that motion was affected by the force of surface tension and how dish soap has caused a change in that surface tension, causing that motion to happen, causing the items that were on top of the surface to spread out. You guys did an awesome job today. We're going to keep talking with our partners, and we're going to continue to explore this and get more details, get more information on why this has happened.